USA Radio News, I'm Ron Warner. The ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran has been extended indefinitely. Robert Sherman reports.
Despite the fact that you have this ceasefire being extended, President Trump putting out a statement about the Strait of Hormuz saying this. People approached me 4 days ago saying, sir, Iran wants to open up the strait immediately. But if we do that, there can never be a deal with Iran unless we blow up the rest of their country, their leaders included. Tense responses coming from Iran, with some of their senior officials saying from their point of view, they view the naval blockade as being no different than the kinetic strikes that have been carried out on their country.
Virginia voters have approved a redistricting referendum that would allow Democrats to redraw the state's congressional maps.
The measure had the backing of former President Barack Obama, who cut a 30-second ad urging Virginians to vote yes and accusing Republicans of trying to rig the next election.
By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterms.
It was set up to give Democrats a 10-to-1 advantage in the upcoming midterms. Democrats say it's necessary because Republicans are doing the same in states like Texas, but Republicans say this is different because Democrats are amending Virginia's constitution. I'm Michael Kastner.
The Red Cross is helping more than 75 people who are now homeless after a deadly fire in the Bronx.
2 people are dead and numerous others are injured, including 2 serious. The blaze broke out Tuesday afternoon at an apartment complex in Belmont. This was between Belmont and Chamberlain Avenues.
I heard a bunch of screaming and hollering. The firefighter said you had to get out and came down the fire escape, and then I just watched the building burn.
Bronx Borough President Vanessa Gibson.
Pray for our families and neighbors. This is traumatic.
The cause is under investigation. Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church is collecting food, clothing, and toiletry donations for the impacted families. In New York, I'm Scott Pringle.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works, it's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
The U.S. Department of Treasury is stepping up sanctions enforcement on Iran, even as Donald Trump extends a fragile ceasefire. Officials say the expanded effort targets oil exports and financial networks tied to Tehran, while warning of penalties for sanction evasion. At the same time, the U.S. and Pakistan leaders are pushing for continued talks. The strategy reflects a dual approach, maintaining economic pressure while leaving the door open for diplomacy. Miami's tech boom is getting a major hardware upgrade.
Construction's wrapping up on MIA, One Iron Mountain's massive new AI data center in Westview between Miami International and Opa-locka Executive Airports. The facility is built to handle the heavy-duty computing needed for the next wave of tech, all while running on 100% carbon-free energy. While some neighbors are just noticing the 150,000-square-foot giant, developers say it's the key to making Miami a global digital gateway. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
Rare literary classics from the likes of John Keats, James Joyce, and Oscar Wilde are back home to their rightful owners on New York's Long Island.
17 books were stolen from the Green Tree Estate in Manhasset between 1982 and 1989. The books were returned this week to the heirs of John Hay Whitney and Betsy Whitney after someone tried to sell them to a pair of Manhattan dealers earlier this year. The rare collection is valued at an estimated $3 million. I'm Mark Mayfield.
I'm Ron Warner, USA Radio News.
You can help put vets to work by donating your car, truck, or van. Your donation will directly support programs to help vets find jobs or even start their own business. Donate today for fast, free pickup of your vehicle. Call 800-209-4580 for 24-hour response. Call 800-209-4580. That's 800-209-4580.
Dependable Lock Service is your source for replacement car keys, custom safes from Liberty Safe, and so many more lock and key services. With over 30 years of experience in lock and key industry, there's nothing Dependable Lock Service can't do for you. Whether you're looking for duplicate automotive chip keys, rekeying commercial and residential locks, or custom safe building, we've got you covered. Call 603-886-0559. Nashua's Dependable Lock Services, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The sky's not the limit, it's just the beginning. I'm Ed Mullen from Nashua Aerial Advertising. There's no better way to advertise your business and or message than high in the sky. How can you make your advertising budget work for you? By putting your ads up where they'll stand out. The sky is an uncluttered, impressive venue. You can put your message over a region or location to target your desired demographic. Put your ads where they're needed. We provide coverage over communities through Merrimack Valley, Greater Nashua, Manchester, Lowell, and points throughout South Central New Hampshire and North Central Mass. Summertime beaches, sporting events, races, fairs, and festivals are all ready-made for banner telling. For more information, please visit us online at NashuaAerialAdvertising.com. And remember, the sky's not the limit, it's just the beginning.
Tired of wondering where your money really goes? At Mammoth Nation, we built what was missing. The America First Marketplace. Every brand we feature is 100% American owned and operated, rigorously vetted for their values and committed to supporting our Constitution, law enforcement, and the American dream. When you shop with us, your dollar stays in the neighborhood, supporting families, veterans, and charities like Folds of Honor. No more sending your hard-earned money overseas to the companies that don't respect you here. Your dollar reflects your values. Your dollar, your values, your America. Join Mammoth Nation today and be part of building a patriot economy by going to TruckersUnitedForFreedom.com affiliate page and hit that link. American built, America strong, Mammoth Nation.
The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to the Common Sense Conservatives, a political discussion group about current events and other government-related matters every Wednesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m. Right here on WSMN 1590 AM, WSMN 95.3 FM, and streaming live on wsmn.live. Making sense of the inverted reality we are subject to every day, the Common Sense Conservatives are here to help bring you back to reality. Now, your hosts, Chris Wyatt, Todd McKinley, and John Gorvin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Common Sense Conservatives, broadcasting right here in WSMN. So we're back to that, trying to flip that inverted reality, gentlemen. So starting with you, Todd, how are things going in your neck of the woods?
Oh, not bad. I can tell you we've got a early voting going on, and we have a mayoral race here in Sullivan County, Tennessee, that is upside down. We have dark money, outside money. We have allegedly members of Congress involved and all sorts of wild stuff being played. A lot of dirty tricks. And in fact, maybe next week we'll have somebody on to talk about it. Well, to get a little bit more in depth. I'm sure it goes on everywhere, but it's finally found its way to my neck of the woods, if you will. We used to be free from a lot of this type of nonsense, and over the past few years, past number of election cycles, it's just gotten worse in our local elections. So, yeah, that's what's going on here.
So you went from deep state politics to deep state elections, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, crap. Well, so, hey, Chris, how you doing over there? How are things going on in Pennsylvania?
Well, I'm doing a lot better than the Southern Pricks Lawlessness Center. They found themselves in a bit of trouble there, scamming the American public and donors for $3 million by funding extremists to be on the scene so they can exist and scam their donors out of tens of millions of dollars. Indictment, it's handed down, a grand jury handed indictment down, and they shall pay the price. They've been caught red-handed. In the midst of all this, we have the nonsense of Barack Hussein Obama trying to say the Republicans are trying to steal the election when it was the Democrats who started this gerrymandering nonsense. Hopefully we'll talk about that in this hour. But I'm just back from a 6-hour drive a couple hours ago from Buffalo, New York. I went to Pittsburgh, then Columbus, Cleveland, Erie, Pennsylvania, and Buffalo, New York to visit South African refugees and listen to their stories and what's happening with them. And I'm back this afternoon, and we're right back in the saddle. So thanks for asking, John. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing well, same old here in New Hampshire. I don't have anything really to report as far as because there's plenty going on. I'm sure I'm just not staying current with it. I've been kind of busy myself as I'm picking up on things and rolling back into work and stuff. The season's picking up for me, so that's a good thing. Let's see where to kick off. False claims on social media, man. What is this with this Larry Johnson analysis here? Was he a CIA analysis or something? And he made these false claims that Trump was reaching for the nuclear codes, trying to get them from none other than General Kane. You hear about this?
Is this the clown who ran his mouth at a honeypot trap with James O'Keefe's person?
He was on a podcast. I don't remember the name of the podcast.
That's another one. That we had the chief nuclear scientist for the Department of War sitting in a restaurant telling a honeypot reporter from James O'Keefe's organization that yes, we killed kids at that school, that an American soldier died from chemical weapons. We have chemical weapons and all this other nonsense. Look, I'll tell you what. If you are in a position of authority somewhere in the world and you think that you're going to get in some lady's pants by saying, hey, baby, listen, I know secrets that you'll never know. Did you know that Area 51 is actually an ice cooler? No, come on. Seriously. Who's going to fall for this nonsense?
That's where they have all the good ice cream out there.
So does Trump have to actually ask for the nuclear code? I mean, yeah, okay, he probably does have to ask for him, but I mean, can anybody deny him that? I mean, he's the sole responsibility of nuclear codes. There's processes.
No. And people say codes. It's not like there's like beep, boop, 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 and then you're hitting enter and you're launching missiles. It's not that way. I'm not going to go into it, but it's not. Boop, 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 and
well, why not? Let's hear it. I mean, or is it something you really don't feel comfortable going
into?
No,
I literally non-disclosure agreements and stuff like
Correct.
that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
No, we don't want you doing anything that's going to get you into trouble for sure.
But I will say it's not like punching in it like on TV.
We all know the nuclear football, right? We know the nuclear football. We do know the nuclear football. We know it exists. And that's a briefcase.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry to break in, but I have breaking news while you were chatting there. My apologies. A judge has ruled Virginia's idiotic redistricting referendum unconstitutional 1 minute ago. It was announced.
Of course.
1 minute ago. Virginia judge ruled today that the state's redistricting referendum approved by voters a day earlier was invalid, nullifying the results. Virginia Attorney General Jay Jones said he would immediately file an appeal. Virginia voters have spoken. An activist judge should not have the power to veto over people's vote. So now when it goes against them, the judges are activists. But when they violate the Constitution like Supreme Court does, they're not activists. I love the left. They're so predictable.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, this was done just to ensure that Republicans are disenfranchised in that state. I mean, the influx of immigrants and people from other places that just love big government spending because they make a lot of money in Northern Virginia off of big government spending, any number of contracting agencies, whatever the case may be, whether it's defense or not, they make a lot of money off of government. They want big government, and that's why they voted this way.
So last year, I think it was in Alabama, am I correct? There was redistricting and the Supreme Court threw it out because they said that it didn't comply with the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Was it Alabama, Todd?
Right. I think it was Alabama. And if you remember, though, then they weren't activist judges at that time, if you remember.
Correct. And remember, the Supreme Court's argument was that you have to ensure that there's a black congressional district, to which I was gobsmacked.
Right.
How is that equal protection under the law? The 14th Amendment calls for equal protection under the law for all. That is not equal protection. So what they're basically Supreme Court said is that black people can't get elected to Congress unless they're given a district that's gerrymandered to ensure it's almost all black people. So all other people there, Asians and whites and Hispanics, are automatically disenfranchised because they have the misfortune living around black folks, according to the Supreme Court. Not only was that a racist decision, but it clearly violates the 1965 Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act was not intended to create artificial districts to ensure that there are black members of Congress to feed the black congressional caucus. So what I suggest is if this goes to Virginia Supreme Court and immediately if it doesn't turn out the way it should be, that it gets nullified, then when it goes to Supreme Court, they should take an emergency case, Supreme Court, and they should vote on this, because this is a clear violation of the 1965 Voting Rights Act by racially discriminating against majority white voters in 80% of the territory of the state, and gerrymandering districts to exclude 48% of the voters in the state of Virginia. This is unconstitutional. It's undemocratic, and I already hear it. But you're a hypocrite. What about Texas? I criticized the Texas redistricting. I said it was illegitimate on this program, on my program. I said it was wrong. Gerrymandering is inappropriate. And unlike most of these pundits that are talking on social media and on television right now, they keep talking about Illinois doing it. Maryland started this crap 15 years ago.
As I remember, whenever Texas was doing it, you said, here's what they're going to do. They're going to use this as the excuse, the left will, to do this in the future. And now here we are.
Yeah, the future wasn't too far off. And here's the most disgraceful part about this. It's already election year. It's already election year. People are already campaigning in districts that no longer exist. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court did this crap in front of the 2020 election and stole seats from the Republicans. This state, on a district that was done by a bipartisan committee, came up with districts that resulted in 12 Republicans and 6 Democrats when we had 18. Now we're down to 17. We lost population. 6 Democrats, 12 Republicans. In one election, in the midst of an election year, the corrupt Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, 5 demon rats and 2 Republicans voted 5-2 to throw out that redistricting, which had been in place for nearly a decade, and said, no, we have to go back to the previous one. And they did that, and Pennsylvania's representation in the House of Representatives went from 12 Republicans to 9 Republicans. And the Democrats went from 3 to 6. That's a swing of 6 seats, which was the entire difference that gave the Democrats the House of Representatives. And this will do the same thing. Virginia will flip the entire House of Representatives for the Democrats potentially. If you are an American and you care about this republic, forget the Democrats, forget the Republicans, but vote against every Democratic candidate in every jurisdiction in this country. They are crooked, they are venal, they are slimy, they are nasty. And I'm sorry, if you are still voting Democrat in 2026, you need a lobotomy, because these people do not appreciate the Constitution. They lie about everything. Now they're lying about Kash Patel. They lie about everything under the sun. Look at the Southern Poverty Law Center. Look what we caught them doing, setting up shell companies to fund extremists so that they can exist, because there were no extremists. They weren't doing anything. So they had to create them and fund them so that they could create this narrative about a systemically racist country. These are Democrats. These are the people you vote for. And this is what you get in New York. I hope you all suffer for what you get.
Precisely. Exactly right. and it's funny is we're just barely lifting the cover back on these leftist organizations. It's like you're just barely seeing the tip of the iceberg, as the saying is. You're only seeing a little bit. I dare say if you rip the covers all the way off, you're going to see a heck of a lot more, not just with that organization, but many, many others.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, I was going to say Chris is typing. He just described it well, but he said they need a lot of lobotomy. But I thought to be at that level, you're already at the stage of having had a lobotomy. I might feel a little confused.
It didn't take. It didn't take.
We are something else over here, right? I mentioned how many liberals out there listening.
Like
going, you guys are rude.
Seinfeld, when he talks about the vasectomy, he goes, it didn't take.
It didn't take. That can probably happen too. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so where are we at now? Let's see. We were talking about misinformation on social media. What was the other big one this week? Was Fetterman. Fetterman supposedly made a statement that he told Barack Obama that he didn't represent him. He represents his constituents. That Obama keeps coming to the Capitol building or the Capitol houses or one or the other, and trying to sway or guidance was the word used, giving them guidance on how to operate.
Guidance, my butt, yeah.
Do you think that this could actually be going? So that's unverifiable. Okay, so we know that. We know that's unverified. I can't find it anywhere to verify it.
He is a former member of the U.S. Senate, so they do have reciprocity to people who left under good standing can come back, and they have certain privileges for sure.
Well, he also
the House does the same thing.
So he runs the Obama Foundation, and most of his cabinet stayed with him during the Obama Foundation, from my understanding. Like Axelrod prior to the Pope.
It's lucrative.
Yeah, it's very, very lucrative. And he basically just followed the Clintons' model on that and took off with it. Probably is doing more than they did.
And I think he learned from their mistakes and didn't venture into some of the stuff that they did, that they got caught in the cookie jar with Haiti and a few other places where they were keeping most of the money and sending very little over to where it should have went to.
So it's probably not. It's probably plausible that he is active and probably working with his party and still trying to give them that guidance that they were referring to. Although the claim was false, as far as we can tell. It's not. I mean, Axelrod just met with the Pope prior to the Pope making all these outrageous announcements against Trump, and so it kind of makes you wonder, though, when you think about it. Is this foundation actually working this way? Are they still trying to lead their party and manipulate things behind the scenes?
These are the dirtiest politicians in history. If you thought the Teapot Dome scandal was bad, if you thought Watergate was bad, Watergate was a walk in the park. Watergate was a joke compared to what the Democrats have done. They have serially violated the Constitution when in office. They have persecuted and oppressed American citizens. They have extrajudiciously murdered American citizens in Yemen. They have silenced their critics. They have violated the law. They have abused the tax code to punish patriotic organizations. They are repulsive and must be eviscerated at the polls. It's time for Americans to wake up to what's happening around them. You are being imprisoned by a cabal of leftist lunatics who've stolen the Democratic Party. It does not represent the unions. It does not represent the poor. It does not represent gays or blacks or Hispanics or anyone. It represents the venal, parochial, personal, vindictive interests of the elite leftists like Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren and Bernie Sanders, who goes to the Soviet Union. Who goes to the Soviet Union for their honeymoon? What kind of idiotic person goes there? I mean, look, if you told me you went on your honeymoon to Iceland, I'd be like, well, that's interesting. If you told me you went to Greenland, I'd be like, you're crazy. But Soviet Union,
Excuse me. In my defense, the Black Sox do not look good on the beach in the Bahamas. That's why I went to the Soviet Union. Excuse me.
Well, Bernie, I would recommend that you take more than 2 pair of underwear, okay?
Yeah,
more than 2 pair of underwear.
I just want to throw some levity in there.
Yeah, no. Look, gents, I mean, I can't stomach this anymore. At every turn, they just make stuff up. We catch them lying. Once again, Chuck Grassley has exposed that these clowns violated the law to spy on Republican legislatures, illegally seizing their phone records, illegally. Scott Perry here in Pennsylvania spent $1 million defending himself over non-existent criminal charges because he was investigated by the corrupt Biden regime. He doesn't get that money back. This is unbelievable. They've abused the power of the state to harm American citizens. And people on the left who've enabled them are guilty. You're guilty of facilitating treason to the Constitution. And you know what? I hope that Trump comes after all of you. And I hope that after Trump's out of office, we continue rooting out the vile weeds in our republic by removing them from the public space.
Well, that's where I want to ask the question here. And I watched a podcast this weekend, and it was who's going to take over next? Who's the next candidates that's going to run, and who's going to be the nominee, and how's this going to play out? Are they going to attack each other, or, what's after MAGA? I mean, who's the next president?
For the Democrats, it'll be gruesome Gavin Newsom and bowtie Tucker Carlson running for president.
Yeah, I heard that he may run as a Republican. Who knows? But
yeah, well, with his 6% approval rating, he's less popular than pedos, Catholic priests, and Democrats in Congress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And who else do you think may tip their hand? I'm sure Vance and
the Republican side, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, possibly John Thune. He might consider this time.
What about Florida governor? Think he may jump into it?
Yeah, he could. We'll see. He kind of got pummeled last time, but Trump won't be around to beat him up, so we'll see. He's certainly got a good record to run on, but a lot of people don't trust him. A lot of people think he's a country club Republican. I don't know that that's true or not true. He certainly, I think, has stood his ground, but he gets accused of being a country club Republican. But to be fair, so is Marco Rubio. He latched on to the Tea Party, but then he went into the Senate, didn't really do much of anything. People called him a country club Republican who really didn't do anything. But he's really sunk his teeth into the Secretary of State job. My goodness, this is the best performing Secretary of State maybe since Kissinger, to be honest. Yeah, or no, since George Shultz. I think the best is George Shultz. To be honest, it's amazing.
Interesting.
So maybe there. I don't know. It's a long way off. Right now we're too busy redistricting districts for midterm elections. Months before an election. So who knows?
Sure.
So it's hard to say who's going to run. John, you thought about anybody might be running? It certainly won't be Tulsi Gabbard.
It probably won't be Tulsi Gabbard. I don't know. She may. She wanted it before, but I don't think she would beat anybody. I'll tell you what, Marco Rubio looks like a strong suit to me right now. Looking
I
at it,
agree.
it's 2 years early.
He's
but
the front
that
runner
man,
for me.
that man is working his butt off in this administration. I mean, he's probably the hardest worker that Trump has got right now.
And he's been the most calm cabinet secretary, and he's in the major hot seat as Secretary of State.
And he has been so articulate, so on point with everything he talks about. And if they just let Marco Rubio speak for the administration, I think we'd see a lot less nonsense going on. But no, he's been pretty amazing. But again, I right now I'd say he's the front runner, but I still in the back of my mind I need to see a little bit more out of him because his time in the Senate did not impress me. A lot of people latched on the Tea Party movement and went to D.C. and betrayed it.
Right.
They didn't stand up for principles of small government, for cutting budgets, that sort of thing. And I would argue that he's one of them. People could argue against it, and that's fine. But remember Michelle Bachmann, where did she go? She's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She took membership in Switzerland, too, right? Dual membership, I think. Or citizenship, excuse me.
Yeah, where are all these Tea Party folks? I know they're under a lot of pressure because of the corrupt actions of the Obama administration, but the Tea Party movement, kind of a lot of it morphed right into Trump with the MAGA movement. But like I said before, we were here before Trump. We'll be here after Trump.
Right, absolutely.
Just imagine Marco Rubio for Supreme Leader of Iran. Laughy faces, of course. He did have a seat there in Venezuela to run things for a short period of time until they can get their act together.
I got you. My hat's in the hopper for Viceroy of Greenland, so why can't he be in charge of Venezuela?
I don't know about Supreme Leader. I don't think his religious type will fit in as Supreme Leader, but I think Iran doesn't need a Supreme Leader anymore. I think we need to see this regime squashed and for the people of Iran to reinstate a democracy and actually build something useful and sustainable for themselves over there.
I think what Iran needs is a popular uprising overthrowing these ghouls. That's what Iran needs.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, absolutely.
And they're working on it, and I think we really have. I mean, when you look at it, I think we really have shaken Iran up, and I think that we've taken out all their strong suits for leadership. I think they're unshaken. Do you see that? Do you feel, Chris and Todd? Do you feel that right now the leadership in Iran has got a lot of infighting and really shaky and not standing on solid ground?
Well, the problem for the Iranians is that the Israelis primarily took out level 1, level 2, and most of level 3 leadership in the country. And those who are actually running the country are the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, not the government. And see, that's one of the points I made when the ceasefire came up. I said, "Oh, great, ceasefire, but who are we going to talk to? Who's in charge? Who's running the show?" And it seems like the IRCG is running the show, and they are to the death lunatics. So the only way to end this is to take them all out. I recommend SEAL teams, Delta, and Rangers on the ground, hunt them down, remove them. Rendition, whatever you got to do, get them out of there and let the Iranian people take over.
Yeah, right. The IRCG is, if you don't take out the top leadership there, you're not taking them out. It's going to be problematic. They're the most vicious, and you're dealing with a theocratic form of government that believes in or has apocalyptic views. So they consider us the what do they call us, the Satan, basically, the great Satan. They don't think well of. They think we're the great Satan, and they're fighting the great evil in the world. So their philosophy is, here's this apocalypse coming down on them, and they're accepting the challenge. They want the challenge. So if we don't take them out, if we don't squash them, the problem is they rise up again later. They're never going to give in. They're never going to stop trying to make nuclear weapons, but they'll rise up again later, 20 years later, and it'll be our future children will be fighting with them or getting attacked by them.
We do have some questions in the comments over here. Can you explain what the IRGC is and how it actually runs the government, if you don't mind?
Well, think of it as like the SS in Nazi Germany.
Right.
Think of it like the SS. The SS was an organization that built itself into an all-powerful military that actually kind of overruled the Wehrmacht and the military and the general staff. They really ruled the roost and did what they wanted for a long period of time. And that's what happens here. There's a military, but the IRCG is not the military. It's actually they have their own navy. They went to South Africa with their own navy ships. So the IRCG overrules the military. So somebody will say that it includes the military, but the people that are in the IRCG that run things is a very specific group of people, and they are committed to the cause. And the cause is the extermination of anybody that's not them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Somebody made a comment here that Islamic run countries are not is not progress, it's regression. Yeah, you're right, for sure. In many senses, yeah.
Well, there are Islamic countries that have done quite well in the Emirates.
Sure, there are.
Lebanon is largely Islamic now. It used to be a Christian nation for the most part, but it's running poorly now. Tunisia is primarily a Muslim nation. Morocco, both countries doing very well. So arguably Egypt is doing okay. So I think that's a broad brush that's not accurate in many respects.
What is the form of government, Chris? I mean, are they a theocracy, Islamic theocracy, or are they just Muslim based or Muslim populated with Muslim belief?
Well, Tunisia is a popular representative republic. Morocco is a constitutional monarchy with a parliament. Egypt is, in theory, a republic as well. So, I mean, each of them have different aspects. And Tunisia isn't doing particularly well now because the current president stole power by disbanding parliament a few years ago. He's not a legitimate ruler. But the history of Tunisia has been one of benign rulership, even if it has been long-term dictators. But each country is different. So, you can't judge them all the same way.
No, they are, but they're not running as a theocracy. As you're describing, they're a form of government, a legitimate form of government.
Oh yeah, I'm not the only theocracy on the planet. There's just two theocracies I'm familiar with. One sits in the Vatican and runs his mouth about America's foreign policy, and he should shut his cake hole. And the other is in Iran.
Yeah, there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the bottom of the hour. If you're just now tuning in, you're listening to WSMN and 1590 on your AM dial, 95.3 on your FM dial. And if you're running into the house and still want to listen, you can catch us at wsmn.live. So let's see. What do we got going on now? Iran's still trying to attack ships, I see. So they're what are they doing? They're just, shooting BB guns at ships now as they're passing by?
Well, they've attacked 3 ships today. 3.
Yeah.
It was reported 2. They actually turned out 3. By the way, one of the viewers said that Iran used to be majority Zoroastrianism and now run by Shia Islam. That's true. It used to be a Zoroastrianism. Just a little trivia, guys. John, Todd, can you name a famous rock singer who was a Zoroastrian?
The guy in Kiss, Gene Simmons, maybe.
No.
I don't know.
Are you talking more folk rock,
Jewish,
or
no? I'm talking rock. Pop.
My first person comes to mind to me was Cat Stevens, but he's actually conformed to Muslim or Islam.
A Parsi Zoroastrian, Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's right. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was Persian. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Freddie Mercury was a Zoroastrian. Yep. And he also had extra teeth. Did you know that?
Did he have extra? I know he had his mouth was small for his teeth, or his teeth was over large for his mouth.
He had 2 extra teeth, and that's why it looks so big. Anyway, I got us away from the Iran story for a moment there.
Well, maybe that's what helped him with that magnificent voice, because he could sing.
Oh, he did have the ability to sing. He was also quite talented, quite a great songwriter as well.
Yes, he was.
Queen was just incredible, absolutely incredible. Yep. Anyway, what a shame, but things happen, right?
Yeah, such is life. You can't do anything about what happens, but at least he left a legacy and left us all with something to remember him all by.
Oh, absolutely. People still sing all of Queen's songs, and Brian May's still around in his 70s now. Brian May is a PhD, a physicist, and he's got, I think, like close to 100 papers published now.
So did you see
I left you all dumbfounded by that.
No. Well, actually, you make a good point talking about their level of education, because there's quite a few artists out there that had strong levels of education, but they were very successful in music.
Well, that clearly doesn't include Bruce Springsteen.
No, I think he's fallen short of it. He was just the working man's man, and apparently led everybody down a dark path of liberalism with his music. I don't know. It's funny because 1980s, Born in the USA, everybody thought that was a patriotic song until they looked at it and dissected and go, hey, wait a minute.
Yep, exactly right. Very anti-American song, anti-Vietnam War, and most people didn't get it. But that's where he made his money off that album. Anyway,
we all supported him. Yeah, we didn't know what we were supporting.
Well, see that the Navy Secretary has left his post.
Stepped aside.
Colonel.
Yeah, I did see that. He stepped aside. I'm not really sure what that was about. It says that He's left effective immediately. So I don't have a lot of naval experience, but I have worked with the Navy, and I'm available, President Trump, Secretary of the Navy. So says, on behalf of Secretary of War and Deputy Secretary of War, we are grateful to Secretary Phelan for his service to the Department in the United States Navy. We wish him well in his future endeavors. Well, that's better than the clown who ran his mouth and got escorted from the Pentagon yesterday. Oof, that was something else. Can you imagine that?
I saw a bunch of arrests in the Capitol. People were protesting. I think there was silent vigil there in the Capitol, and they escorted a bunch of them out in cuffs. But what happened at the Pentagon?
The senior nuclear scientist at the Pentagon was chatting up that woman in the.
Oh, okay. That's what you're talking about. I thought you said something happening in the Pentagon. Okay.
No, he was escorted out of the building yesterday.
Well, he should be. Yeah.
And quite frankly, I would have had the DOD police outside putting handcuffs on him and turning over to federal marshals for violation of the Espionage Act. Let him spend the weekend in prison.
Right. I would too. I mean,
someone asked.
I don't get it. I mean, you talk up these. I mean, there's these women. I mean, you've been to D.C., you've been around, you've been to all sorts of countries, and they know who you are. They're targeting you. They come and hit you up. It's like, wait a minute. This normally doesn't happen. What is going on here? Do you want money, or is it too good to be true? If it's too good to be true, or they want money, you probably don't mean to be messing with them.
So it's like I told my contractors and my soldiers, sailors, Marines across Africa, guys, you didn't suddenly become better looking. You don't have better game, and your 46-inch waistline isn't suddenly 29 inches. Okay,
No.
Get the hint. Get the hint.
Right? Yeah. Oh, look at you! Oh my goodness! Hey.
Oh,
Yeah.
baby, you look so hot, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah, no.
46-inch waistline. Wow. Just about big around as they are tall. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. He's saying the hot Eastern European chick or the Asian chick's not going to be hitting on you.
I know what he's saying.
All of a sudden, you look so great. Yeah.
Even with that 46-inch waistline, I was thinking, oh, that's a pretty big waist.
Right. Amazing how, as a senior executive service level 2 person, you go to Leningrad on vacation, and all these lovely women find you so attractive, but nobody in Reston found you attractive.
Right. No. Yeah, I mean, but DC has, I mean, many people working under the radar. A lot of people doing intel work, and not even all of them are government. It's you have a lot of companies or think tanks that'll try to get information from people.
Absolutely, that's exactly what's happening. So one of our guests or one of our viewers in the chat session said, "How is Iran able to attack ships? They don't have a navy." Well, yes and no. We have sunk the vast majority of their fleet, but they still have Zodiacs and little patrol boats that zip around with Evinrude motors and that sort of thing on them that they're able to hide along shore because they don't give them a big heat signature. And so that's what they're using. Also, if the ships come too close to shore, they can fire artillery or rockets at them. And so they can shoot at them, but seizing, they'd have to send out an outboard motor or a Zodiac to do it. And apparently that's happening. So the question remains, where was the U.S. Navy? Well, the U.S. Navy is sitting outside the straits in the Gulf of Hormuz. So if they don't come into the straits, then how could they interdict? And I think that's the problem.
That's why I made that statement earlier about what are they doing, shooting at them with BB guns. It's like, what do they got? they don't have much.
They do have some of those small boats. I mean,
they do.
Had like 100 of those. Their navy is, you can't really count them as a navy, but it's like a brown water navy. That's kind of what they have, riverine patrol sort of thing, except that they can go out into the Arabian Gulf. So yeah, that's what's happening there, to my knowledge. I think the U.S. Navy should put a sub in the straits and just cruise back and forth. And patrol, and then they can call for fire. They don't even have to expose that there's a sub there. The Iranians aren't going to know they're there. They can just call for fire, or anytime one of these boats comes out, send a Jolly Green Giant out there and just light them up. Right. Next thing you know,
the right sound for it.
It will be Lament of the Seven Seas once we rule the Seven Seas in the Iranian Navy.
The Iranian Navy.
Our supreme leader played chicken with the Dawn. Now all our ships are gone.
I like Trump's statement. All their ships are floating at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, right. I don't know how you float at the bottom of the ocean, but anyway. Yeah, but Trump is quite the character. So, yeah.
It's funny, some of the stuff he says, and a lot of it, man, he is just poking at people. You know, like we said before, he says some of the stuff. People get so offended by it, but what he's really doing is poking at people that he knows are paying attention to him on True Social, which would be Iranian or the Iranian regime. So he's throwing stuff out there to antagonize them, like trying to get them into the ceasefire conversations and stuff. And I don't know what his plans are. I know he said he suspended or he's carrying out the ceasefire indefinitely at the time, so he hasn't called it off. So I don't know if he's just kind of like planning on, because he claimed he's doing more damage just by closing off the strait. But the problem is the rest of the world's going, yeah, but the damage is being felt over here. So he's going to start getting that pressure from world leaders and people and corporations going, man, enough's enough. What are you doing?
Well, that makes sense. One of my viewers has jumped in here. Someone the other day that someone was being pretty, I think, kind of rude to, asked him if his name was really Yassine. His name really is Yassine. I guess they're not accustomed to hearing that from many South Africans. But he says that Faroudin Farrokhzad, a Zoroastrian Iranian rebel, was his paternal grandfather. He fled to Germany where he was assassinated in 1980. Wow, small world.
Huh.
Quite the small world, isn't it?
Pretty wild. John.
Yeah.
John, the studio looks nice tonight. I'm looking at you there. Well lit tonight. Different camera, or did you guys change something out? What are you looking at?
Actually, I'm not using the mobile camera I was using before. I'm using one of the camera I was using prior where you couldn't see me. It was all dark and stuff. And I'm using that one. It's bright and working, so I'm like, hey, I went back to that.
Not bad.
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why it gets dark sometimes, but it does.
Well, the studio is lovely, but could I go back to the Southern Poverty Law Center?
Let's do
talk
that.
about these criminals. Let's talk
What'd
about
you call
criminals.
Maybe you might not want to call them what you called them before, though.
The Southern Bricks Lawless Center was indicted Tuesday on federal fraud charges, alleging they improperly raised millions of dollars and secretly paid leaders of the Ku Klux Klan and other hate groups for inside information, acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said. Now, the Justice Department alleges the civil rights group defrauded donors by using their money to fund the very extremism that it claimed it was fighting, with more than $3 million paid to informants through a now-defunct program to infiltrate white supremacists and other extremist groups. Prosecutors allege some of the money was used by extremists to carry out other crimes, but court papers did not include specific examples. Quote from Todd Blanche, the SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. As I said, this is an effort for them to remain relevant because there's no reason for the Southern Poverty Law Center to exist. They don't help poor people. It's just a racist organization that attacks majority Americans all the time. And this is them trying to prove they're relevant by claiming we need to be here because the Klan is active. They're active because you're paying them to be active.
Right.
Oh, my goodness. Can you imagine that? What a shocking development, John.
Oh, man, that's not surprising. I mean, we interviewed Adam Schwartz, who owns Crowds on Demand. Remember that interview?
Right. Oh, yeah.
People actually pay for people to show up and make a scene and look good for whoever's paying for it. And so it's all theatrical.
Look, I'm willing to show up for a protest, but I'm going to work at studio minimums. I need some real money. You got to show me the Quan.
He wants up to more than $15 an hour.
Yeah. You have to put that in like $100 an hour, and my threshold's about 3 hours, and then I'm done. And then it's time for the jacuzzi.
So you just want to make your $300 a day mark in 3 hours.
There you go. Exactly right. Why should I work more? They don't.
That's not working. You're standing up there holding a sign wearing their shirt.
Oh, man. If you stood around for 3 hours in the cold, it sucks.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do twice that.
Todd, obviously, John's never pulled guard duty.
Right, yeah.
Dude, I'm a truck driver. You know how much time I spit in the cold? I've laid on my back at 1 degree working on trucks.
Come on.
Okay?
Come on. We know you all sit on your bum all day long. Come on. You drive up and down the highway sitting on your butt all day long.
I do a lot of hold the seat down. That's true because I'm also holding a pedal down and stuff like that. But
don't you use the cruise control in your big truck?
I never use cruise control. I'm not a big fan of. You always stabbing the brakes, resetting the cruise control. I might as well just keep my foot on it and regulate the fuel that
Fair
way.
point.
I mean, come on. So no, I mean, it's more than just sitting on a butt. I mean, sometimes I gotta fix those brakes, or when they lock up in the wintertime, they freeze up, and you're out there pounding on them, pulling out a torch, laying on your back. It's 1 degree out, but I don't want to get into complaining though. I don't want to sound like that.
Right?
I
Yeah,
get it.
John. What are you
John,
complaining about?
I get it. I'm a subject matter expert. I've watched Smoking the Bandit a couple dozen times.
If only trucking was that exciting.
No kidding. No kidding. Have you got your ears on? Oh my goodness.
Put the evidence in the car, Junior.
Yeah. He slices the top of the cruiser off.
Right.
The door gets knocked off. Oh my gosh. What we have here is a failure.
We've had a couple people out there. They tried to make trucking that exciting and found themselves at the wrong end of the law. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It didn't turn out like they thought it might.
Yeah, it's but look, I mean, it was a good movie for its time, And remember, we had BJ and the Bear came out that time.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
As a kid, I watched that every episode. I couldn't tell you anything about it, but other than the fact that he wore this leather jacket, never got any grease on it somehow.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was an amazing jacket. I mean, what's not to like a man and his monkey?
Right.
That didn't sound right.
Yeah. So what the premise of that was that he go around and just help people, do great good deeds and stuff. Or,
He's a superhero truck driver, right?
Like a detective type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think he ever pulled a load once in any episode.
Right. It's like, how do you afford to drive that truck around? I mean, come on, man. Like, it's a good gimmick for a TV show.
It was all Hollywood money.
Right. It was Hollywood money. Back in the days when they had reality shows there, Todd. That was the first one.
Well,
that was a reality show.
A lot of shows were also built around a vehicle or a helicopter or something as a separate character in the show. Like, I mean, name one: Knight Rider, Dukes of Hazzard, Airwolf, and so on. There was always some sort of component of a car, motorcycle, airplane, something like that. Street Hulk.
Who didn't like Knight Rider? Come on, that little strobing light in the front of the Trans Am. I mean, come on, Knight Rider.
Did nothing for me. In fact, I couldn't stand David Hasselhoff because of that and Baywatch for years. I just couldn't stand him. And the fact that the Germans think he can sing. That's the other thing kind of put me off Hasselhoff.
Let's be honest. Most 1980s TV shows were pretty silly. I mean, come on.
Well,
Dukes of Hazzard. How many Dodge Chargers did they destroy in Dukes of Hazzard?
Probably quite a few. That's probably why there's a shortage of darn things today. But
right.
you had Chips. That was a pretty good show.
I love Chips.
I think looking back, I think it was probably pretty silly, but it was. I mean, it was good. It was quality entertainment for the day. It was. I mean, I might have been 8 years old when that was out, and Pancho. What was his name? I can't remember.
Officer John Poncherello, Eric Estrada.
Yeah. We all thought he was the coolest.
Yeah, Eric Estrada.
Yeah, apparently behind the scenes, Eric Estrada was trying to get the guy who played John Baker fired from the show because he thought he should be the main star. He didn't
Larry Wilcox.
Larry Wilcox, who was a former Marine, by the way.
And he went off to race cars after the show, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't know that about it. But what I can tell you is that I met Eric Estrada in Pennsylvania, and he's quite a nice gentleman. His telenovela, career in Mexico was quite huge too. Probably as big as his Chips appearance was. But Estrada's in his 70s. He's still pretty fit guy for his age and quite a gentleman. He stayed, he was only supposed to be there for a short period of time. It was in the 90s, brutally hot. He hung around for like an extra hour, just stayed and signed autographs and talked to people. He's such a friendly guy. So, people change over time. Maybe he was a jerk when he was young and he wanted all the attention.
Sure.
But he got all the attention. Eric Estrada was the star of that show, hands down.
Magnum. Somebody brought up. Let's see, Knight Rider, Chips, and Magnum. I guess those were the shows he.
I
watched.
didn't like Knight Rider. I couldn't stand Magnum. I never appreciated Tom Selleck until he went on Friends. Ever since then, I've been kind of a Tom Selleck fan. But I can't watch that Blue Blood
You didn't
show.
like Magnum?
No,
I thought everybody liked Magnum.
It was so canned and artificial in my mind. I didn't like it. But I have to say that he's an incredible actor. One of the best actors of the generations is Tom Selleck. He's amazing range, great diversity. But one of the things that turned me to appreciating him was a long time ago. I watched Why I Give Benefit of the Doubt was Quigley Down Under. That was an incredible movie. That was really well done. He was brilliant in that. So, yep.
He was almost cast as Indiana Jones, by the way.
That's correct. He really was cast in that role. That would have been something else, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. One thing, what are your take on TV shows that kind of get reboot like decades later? Recast all that stuff and reboot like they did with Magnum PI as an example. What do you think about that? Is they just reaching for something, or no new ideas, or go with what works? What do you think?
Didn't they make Magnum PI a woman or something like that?
No. They made Higgins a woman.
Oh yeah, no. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. No, some are excellent. Battlestar Galactica reboot was a fantastic, serious reboot of a camp series that was incredible as a camp series with Lauren Green and Dirk Benedict. That was incredible as a camp series. But the reboot, oh my goodness, the reboot was unbelievable with Edward James Olmos. That was better than I think any program that was on TV at the time. So that was well done. Some other ones that the MacGyver reboot is just lame. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
The Hawaii Five-0 reboot was incredible for one season, and then they ruined it. But that first season was really well done. So I mean, the Hawaii Five-0 stands the test of time. It's an amazing series. Even today, I have the entire DVD collection. And the reboot was fantastic first year. But a lot of these shows, it's a real stretch. Now, I like it when they take a show and they pick up and go with it. So I would just literally kill for Josh Whedon to relaunch Firefly, but it'd be Firefly 20 years later, and those characters are still alive, and the same actors would come back and they would reunite or something like that, and that series would be absolutely incredible. But it's they ruined series. Look what Paramount has done to the Star Trek Enterprise. They've destroyed it. It's absolutely woke. It's undigestible. It's so unpopular. They just canceled the new Star Trek Academy or Starfleet Academy just a few episodes into it because it's so disgusting.
So woke. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, how about this? You're so far in the future. How about we're past everything woke, all this stuff, and let's just imagine a real future post, world wars, things like that. Let's imagine that type of universe. No, we have to deal with all the problems that we are facing today. Let's just tell a good future story. I don't know. Let's get sci-fi with it instead of telling me how horrible I am here today. You know what I mean?
So I think that the two most underappreciated Star Trek franchises were, in order, Deep Space Nine and Enterprise. And I'll say that Deep Space Nine has stood the test of time. The scripts, the character development, the storyline, a space station out in the middle of nowhere near a planet as in the aftermath of a conflict, and the different quadrant, and the acting of Avery Brooks as Benjamin Sisko. The entire thing, bringing characters in from the originals, from the Star Trek Next Generation, like Worf and others. It was just absolutely brilliant, and it has stood the test of time. There isn't a bad season of Star, and it wasn't appreciated at the time. I watched it, but I didn't truly appreciate the depth of the show until I watched it much later. You can watch it today, and it's not like you're watching an old show. It's like, wow, this was just made. It's so compelling. And the other show that was canceled before it got its full run after 3 seasons, but was absolutely incredible, was Enterprise with Scott Bakula as Jonathan Archer. That was a brilliant series. And just as it was about to get really juicy, it was really juicy already, but it was going to go over the top, they canceled the series. Paramount just pulled it. And then they decided to go woke, and everything since then has been woke. They even ruined Picard. Picard had, 7 of 9 became a lesbian. Okay, I'm sorry. She's part, Borg.
Borg, right?
Borgs don't have lesbian. Come on, give me a break. So it's a shame because the Picard series was pretty good other than that. But all this stuff they come up with now is just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's a shame because there's so much they could do with it, but they have to ruin it.
So explain, why can't Borgs be lesbians? Are they half human, half machine?
They're not individual. They're a collective.
It's a collective, yeah. So that would
so
be
is this a thing in the show, or
that would be an individual identity, coming through whenever, and that's not something that the Borgs are known for.
Correct. And throughout her existence, 7 of 9 struggled with her humanity. She couldn't form personal relationships, let alone sexual relationships with others. So for her to suddenly, a few years later, be a full-on lesbian, I mean, come on, man. What's the point?
She evolved, man.
I would also have a problem if she had like a relationship with a dude, because it would be artificial. She could eventually get there, but you got to show us the development. It just isn't plausible that suddenly that's the way she is.
Oh, you said I got you. So there was a writing flaw here. They didn't connect anything. It just all of a sudden, snap of a finger, it happened.
Well, but I mean, this Picard series is farther in the future when Picard is a really old man, and so you can, it's there. But what I'm saying is that they developed that character so seriously, and so that's what saved that series. The Star Trek Voyager was floundering until they brought her on the show, and she energized the show. and really changed it. The character 709 really 709 changed the show. And to take her from that and jump forward is possible, but it really leaves a lot out there for those who are true devoted Star Trek fans. And not to mention that J.J. Abrams movie screwed up the entire timeline. None of it's real. It's all everything we ever experienced in all of the series. The 50, 60 years we devoted to Star Trek as fans is a waste of time because J.J. Abrams screwed everything up. And now Vulcan is destroyed. The Vulcans are refugees all over the quadrant. Come on, it's just stupid. It's stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, great cinematic, great extra effects, great movie, but you ruined the timeline. I can't accept it.
Yeah, but can't that be like just an alternate storyline in and of itself, though?
That's
or did they try to
Babylon.
tie it
An
in?
alternate storyline is Babylon 5. Go watch that.
Well, actually, no. I do need to correct myself. They did tie in all the original stuff because they had the original Spock on there, so there was a tie-in somehow. So,
Yes,
yeah,
but everything's changed now. I mean,
Yeah.
Vulcan has been blown up. Come on, man. Come on, that's just
Right.
not plausible. Anyway, no, it's Hollywood ruins everything. You know, it's a shame. The good stuff
That's
goes.
what they do. It's what they do. They ruin the Borg. Next thing you know, the Q's on the chopping blocks next, right?
We are the Borg. Resistance is futile.
What was that story from the 1950s? The Last Question? Is that what it was? It was like a short about the machine they developed, like what AI is today is basically futuristically for AI in the future and stuff. So they developed this AI machine. It's the smartest thing in the world. And they asked the question how they're going to sustain man, that, you know, the species doesn't run out or something like that. And at the end, when man's gone and extinct, then the machine starts said, "Let there be light." It started to sound like, "Hey, we need some writing style in here to kind of." You don't know this story, I take it by the look.
No, it's news to me, and I was still chuckling over what Yassine shared with us. He said in the series Starfleet Academy, which is just canceled, a Vulcan male who lives solely on logic is gay and wears a skirt.
A Vulcan male.
Which to me, if you're pure Vulcan and you're basically a logical society, being gay would be illogical because you can't perpetuate your species, right? Maybe am I right here? I think that's how they would approach that, right?
I figured that's what Chris was leading into. Is it's
No,
doesn't fit the-
I'm just kind of throwing it out there that's these types of people. The Vulcans are very logical.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
you're
saying?
Not
yeah,
to
you're talking
mention, Todd,
sarcasm.
not to mention when two male Vulcans experience Pon farr, somebody's going to get killed. So there'll be no relationship.
That's true. when they're in heat, right? Yeah,
That's right, man. That's right. Still got
Oh,
that
you
original
can't have
Star-
it.
I've got that
It's
original Star
illogical.
Trek series, the original Star Trek series music that plays dun, 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 in the background when they're on Vulcan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, how
Fight
funny.
to the
Yeah.
death.
I
Anyway.
wished I had the song. This would be a good time to play that song, "Start Trekking Across the Universe," slowly going forward because we can't find reverse.
Okay, you got me again,
What's
man.
that?
You guys ever heard that one?
You
Oh,
got
no.
me again. I must be some. Look, I know Wolf Creek Pass. You want to play that?
No, I don't know. We need to play that one either. That wouldn't fit. You know, you guys were talking about Star Trek and stuff. But yeah, we're almost there at the top of the hour. What do we got? Another minute and a half or so. So
Todd, do you have a favorite Star Trek series?
You know, I like the original series when I in elementary school. That I'd come home and watch it, get a couple episodes in, and do homework. And I like the original series. I always like the original Spock. I like Leonard Nimoy on the his commentary as well on documentaries. I kind of like that as well. So that's kind of why I really liked him.
except for In Search Of, right? That was the most irritating thing to watch because
I
it was
loved
never
In Search Of.
I hated it because there was nothing conclusive. At the end of the show, you were like, "Well, does
I
Bigfoot
love it.
exist or doesn't exist? Where's the
No,
proof?
but that's
Where's
the point. We're
evidence?"
still in search
I
of.
know.
That's the
I
whole
know.
point of
I
it.
know.
I
but it
love
drove me
that
nuts.
show. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
It was
Great
well
stuff.
it was well crafted show. It just drove me nuts.
That's
'cause there was
right.
nothing
It
con-
made you
there was
want to
no
watch another
conclusion.
episode.
Yeah, In Search Of rocked. You know, you try to find that. It's hard to find that. They barely even keep track of the show. But that was huge. I mean, it sounds like we all watched In Search Of. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, like I say, it just drove me crazy because I was a kid looking for conclusion. I wanted to know, man. I don't want to keep guessing. Come on now, that's like somebody's talking about. Did you hear about that underneath the pyramids? They think that there's actually different levels under the pyramids, and it goes really, really deep, different stories. And I'm like, oh man, come on, enough with this pyramid stuff. You know, either tell us it exists or tell us it doesn't exist, but don't give us
Don't-
ideas that it may or may not exist.
Don't you know the pyramids are actually alien ships and the engines are underneath the sand?
Oh, so eventually they're going to launch unexpectedly. We're going to be standing there in disbelief, looking up at the sky, going,
Well, they
when we
lost-
going back to the moon or something?
They lost the knowledge of cold fusion, and so they're grounded.
There you go.
Broadcasting from 200 Main Street in the beautiful and historic Masonic Building. This is WSMN 1590 AM and WSMN 95.3 FM, Nashua. Streaming live at wsmn.live.
USA Radio News, I'm Anthony Lucero. Ceasefire talks between the U.S. and Iran remain stalled, with the White House saying President Trump is giving Tehran more time to negotiate. Iran says they will not return to talks unless the U.S. lifts the Strait of Hormuz blockade. Kelly Meyer has more.
There's also another statement from the Speaker of Iranian Parliament basically saying that a complete ceasefire only makes sense if it is not violated by the maritime blockade and the hostage taking of the world's economy. He went on to say that they did not achieve their goals through military aggression, nor will they through bullying. So we're pretty much at this same point here where we're waiting for an answer from the White House.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is addressing concerns over the potential for artificial intelligence tools to replace human air traffic controllers.
Speaking to CBS News, Duffy sees potential for AI to make the nation's airspace safer, but when it comes to the technology replacing people, he said it's not going to happen. Duffy insisted that human controllers will retain final authority in important decisions. The Transportation Secretary is hoping AI can alleviate some of the pressure of the job as he pushes for the department to undergo a modernization effort. I'm at Mattinson.
A federal appeals court is halting a California law that requires ICE agents to wear identification.
The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit made the ruling this morning after briefly putting the law on hold for review. The court is siding with the Trump administration, which called the mandate unconstitutional. California was requiring visible identification for all law enforcement, including immigration agents. Governor Gavin Newsom codified it last year by signing the No Vigilantes Act. The U.S. Department of Justice then sued the state. The new ruling means enforcement is paused until the court fully resolves the case. I'm Daniel Martindale.
At the closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 340 points. The S&P 500 climbed 73 points, and the Nasdaq rose 397 points. I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
From America's News Network, USA Radio News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Tired of wondering where your money really goes? At Mammoth Nation, we built what was missing. The America First Marketplace. Every brand we feature is 100% American owned and operated, rigorously vetted for their values and committed to supporting our Constitution, law enforcement, and the American dream. When you shop with us, your dollar stays in the neighborhood, supporting families, veterans, and charities like Folds of Honor. No more sending your hard-earned money overseas to the companies that don't respect you here. Your dollar reflects your values. Your dollar, your values. Your America. Join Mammoth Nation today and be part of building a patriot economy by going to TruckersUnitedForFreedom.com affiliate page and hit that link. American built, America strong. Mammoth Nation.
Hi Nashua, I'm Perry Cataldo from Choice Benefit Services, your local insurance agent that has dedicated himself to all the Medicare plans in New Hampshire. Whether you're just turning 65, new to Medicare, or already have a plan, I'll explain all your Medicare options and extra benefits that you hear so much about. I ensure you're getting all you're entitled to in allnh.com. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, health is wealth.
Continuing the legacy started in 1904, Roger Pellerin of Gate City Monument Incorporated continues to provide the same high-quality monument, custom headstone, and stoneworking craftsmanship today that they built their reputation on over 100 years ago, servicing Nashua, New Hampshire, as well as nearby areas in Massachusetts, such as Lowell, Billerica, Chelmsford, and beyond. From creating custom monuments to memorialize, to landscaping and granite work or restorative services, each job is done to your satisfaction and is backed by decades of experience and integrity. If you're thinking about stonework, think Roger Pellerin of Gate City Monument. Visit online at gatecitymonument.com, stop by and meet Roger at 321 West Hollis Street in Nashua, or call 603-883-7141. That's 603-883-7141. Gate City Monument, memorials of distinction for people who care.
Well, memorials of distinction for people who care, John.
On the microphone. So, yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. You're listening to Common Sense. In case you're just not tuning in, you're listening to Common Sense Conservatives right here, WSMN 1590 on your AM dial, 95.3 on your FM dial. I was kind of giving that a little bit of thought. You guys were talking a lot of Star Trek before the break, and you made that statement about Klingons and dresses and all sorts of nonsense. And I'm thinking, isn't it funny how the political writings and television shows and fantasy and fictional characters change according to our modern day policies or preferred policies of the liberal left? And I assume that's what you're alluding to in the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. That's where we're going with that. This DEI woke nonsense. So, for instance, in the I don't even know which one it is, Starfleet something. The only white males, which make up 38% of the population in America, the only white males in this show are the evil captain, the alien, or the gay doctor. That's it, which doesn't exactly represent white males. They're only evil aliens. They hide their face, which is something that black actors complain about. How come the black actors, their faces are hidden? Well, they're doing to the white males. They hide their faces. So don't feel like the lone stranger, buddy.
Yeah, interesting enough, they keep talking about white people and stuff and majorities in the U.S. maybe, but globally, what do white males make? About like 8 to 10% of the globe or something? It's not very high.
I don't know if it's even.
I mean, not white males, white people, the white race.
Yeah.
It's not very high when you think about it. Practically a minority when you speak about the world, but that's just I guess that's one viewpoint about it. You think it's just I think a lot of it has to do with too. We don't breed as much anymore, do we? As grown in civilized societies, white people breed. If they're lucky, they knock out 2 children per couple or something. Sometimes not even that anymore.
John, when I was born, there were approximately 128 million white Americans. Today, there are 230 million. Hardly a dying species.
I'm not saying it's a dying species. I'm saying we just don't populate like rabbits,
Well, some of us do.
Some of us do.
Yeah. Yeah. And anyway, I could make a comment, but I'll hold off for the time being, though. Actually, I won't. In our society, you see a lot of the wrong people repopulating. It's like you have a lot of very intelligent, very educated people trying to be people that are,
Todd,
that are
what
successful.
do you get that? You get what, Democrats? Is that what you want
Right,
to say?
well, but you have others, but very successful people, smart people, tend to, second guess themselves. Like, well, I'm not ready yet financially. I'm not there career-wise. I'm not there, this and that, and it has to be just right. While you have people that just are agents of chaos, just, having kid after kid after kid, and it breeds, generational poverty, because most of the time you're going to have to be on some sort of government service. And I'm like, maybe we should all exercise a little individual responsibility, and I'm not criticizing, everybody who's having kids. That's not the case, but it seems to be a lot of very intelligent people are second guessing themselves when they shouldn't be.
Well, yeah, well, see, a lot of poor people find breeding as a form of recreation, I guess you might say. They tend to breed more. They tend to do more. It's kind of, at least it seems synonymous that way to me.
The opinions on this program are entirely those of John Grosvenor and Todd McKinley.
Right. Yeah.
WSMN or me.
Oh, we covered that. We covered that at the beginning of the show as far as they covered their butts at WSMN. In fact, Johnny told me I should probably let that disclaimer run after the first break or at top of the hour break, so that way people get the disclaimer twice and they know WSMN does not. We don't
Well,
reflect their opinion.
I will clarify it since WSMN has put his disclaimer. The opinions of John Grosvenor and Todd McKinley do not reflect my opinions.
Hey, I was just sharing thoughts here, but they are just opinions. So thank you for clearing up. It is just opinions. Nobody's stating a fact here, so nobody needs to get the little panties in a bunch.
Yeah, and if you
when it
if you're
comes to
listening
breeding,
to the show,
yeah, go ahead,
if you're
go ahead,
listening
Todd.
to the show.
When it comes to breeding, that's what I did with my dairy cattle. We bred them, artificial insemination.
If you're near the Nashua, New Hampshire, you're near the studio. If you agree with us, why don't you drive by the studio and give us a honk and let John know? Let John know.
A good opportunity for people to discover nobody agrees with us. Thank you.
That you agree with John Grosvenor. Give us a honk there, folks.
Oh man. So sometimes though, when you think about it as society, I was contemplating this here just the other day. Do we put too much emphasis on sexuality and sexual conduct? I mean, somewhere along the lines, people started focusing in on marketing and sex sells, and all of a sudden now, I mean, I remember clear back to the 1980s where it was party life, yeehaw. You know, you weren't nobody if you weren't partying and knocking boots and carrying on, or at least have a badge of honor to show for it or something. It's like, do we put too much emphasis on this? I mean, is that really what we're supposed to be about as a species? So Todd muted his microphone.
I don't think we put too much emphasis on attraction and beauty. I mean, it's just nature. People who try to pretend it isn't, like the Victoria's Secret models who look like they spend all their time at the buffet line. It's not exactly appealing. I'm sorry, ladies. That's just not how people are wired. Just like dudes with 46-inch waistline, that's not attractive. That's not how we're wired as creatures.
And Svetlana's not attracted to you there, buddy. That's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. No, but the people try to create this artificiality. Look at everyone appeals, different things appeal to them, but there are some universal things. Sydney Sweeney is hot. I don't care what you say. She's hot. She's fit.
And everybody wants to date AOC. Right.
Well, I think that's a universal lie, but I'm just saying. Only Republican men want to date her. Come on, get it right. Only white Republican men. That's what it is. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but John does have a point there, and it's funny is how you'll have people that will come out and complain about the fact that there's all this smut that's out there. Pornography, whatever the case may be. They'll blame all of that for the woes of society, but it's like, there's a demand for it, so therefore it's going to be out there. It's up to us as individuals. If you disagree with it, if you don't buy into it, you don't like it for whatever reason, whether it's religion or whether it's personal, to stay away from it. I think, stay away from it, because there's going to be evil in the world regardless of how much you don't want it to be. This world is inhabited by evil. Let's be clear about that. It's up to us to avoid it. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, well, we kind of endorse it sometimes. I mean, through advertising campaigns and just nonsense. And you see it all over social media. Somebody wants the clicks. Here you go. Let's put a woman out there. Some of it's so bad. I'm sitting there scrolling through it. They don't do it anymore. I don't think they get away with it now.
But again,
they used to have the see-through blouses on Facebook. I don't know if you.
They have much worse stuff on that on social media now. I mean, it's just all pornography basically.
Well, Todd, you're experienced, and you spent a lot.
I mean,
sorry, you opened the door, man. You opened the door.
Just scroll on social media. You're gonna find, out of 2 or 3 times you scroll, you're gonna find something smutty on there.
No, you're right. It's people are attention seeking that way, and they try to use it. But
everybody, now that there's a platform for you, everybody's a star now. Everybody has to, be in their cars giving you some update on some nonsense because everybody's an influencer, or some nonsense like that.
You're right.
If influencer is in your profile, I'm good. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to buy your product, and also I don't want to hear your advice on anything. Unless you're giving some sort of tip on how to do something on a car or something that may help my life. Then I may listen to you. But most of the time, just save it. In my book.
Gosh, Todd, that hurts.
Well, you have something to say. You have an actual program where you have an.
I'm also not pushing products.
Yeah, you're not being an influencer. You're actually just.
I'm actually influencing events. I'm not influencing.
There's not a selfie a minute. You're not like, every 5 seconds.
Well, I mean, I do a lot of videos. Somebody might accuse me of that. But your point there a moment ago is that It's the same thing, whether it's sex or gambling or firearms or alcohol. The issue is not supply. The issue is demand. There's a reason why people have a demand and why supply becomes available. If people weren't buying crack cocaine, there'd be none on the market because nobody would buy it. It would drive. So you must address the demand signal. And what I'm talking about here, for instance, is guns aren't the problem. It's the jerks that get the guns that shouldn't have them that we don't keep an eye on or don't catch. That's the demand signal. You have to stop the demand from lunatics and from idiots who shouldn't have a firearm, and then we don't have a problem. I mean, I find it staggering, Todd, that we existed for nearly 250 years with more firearms than Americans at many points in our history, and we never had a single mass shooting. Never had a single until that guy in the tower in Texas in the 70s or late 60s where he shot those guys.
Who had a massive brain tumor.
But let's take a walk back, okay? Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia. What does militia mean? Okay, if that's the first thing you got to do is define what militia means. In 2026, it's a far cry different than what it meant in 1776. If you go back and define the meaning of militia in 1776, you and I are the militia. The citizens were the militia. The citizens were the ones that policed their communities. That's why they had a well-regulated militia, meaning a proper running militia as an armed citizenry, and the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So we made up the militia. It wasn't the National Guard. The military was something different. So when you say that things were safer and people weren't shooting each other, 100-something years ago until the bell tower incident, that's because people stayed armed up till about 1903 when they changed the definition and said, we'll make the National Guard the militia.
But you also had people that...
Yeah, Todd, I was going to say...
You had more family units back in the day, too. People were more out to stick together, closer-knit communities. You didn't have people that were just going to hop on the highway and go down the road. You had freedom of, back... Now you have freedom to go wherever the heck you want to. Then you were kind of stuck geographically wherever you were born for the most part. So you had to live in a community and live by certain rules, or you're going to be ostracized, put to death, or sent in jail, something like that. So you had to abide rules way back when. So I think there was more respect with one another. You had to treat each other with respect within a community in order to thrive, if you will.
We actually had real communities where people knew each other.
We don't really have that.
They went to church together. Their kids played together after church and stuff. Yes.
Well, John, I think it may have been a lot less common, back in that time. I think there are many more militias today. I don't think militias were ever the issue.
Militias. Yeah, we were talking about sexual conduct earlier, and Chris got stalled.
No, you said militias. Oh, militia. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I got stuck between militia and minutia, so I wasn't sure which you're going with there.
Hey, both are kind of attractive. You know what I'm saying? Females, guns, it's all good.
Oh, guns, and gotcha. Now I'm tracking with you. All right. Well, there you go. So, the
Chris is stumped? That doesn't usually happen.
No, I'm not stumped. I'm pausing for effect. The Canadians say they're not a supplicant. They will not let the U.S. dictate terms of USMCA review. This is from Mr. Carney, who just the other day said, we don't need America. We will expand our trade elsewhere. Go ahead, buddy. Canada folds if the U.S. doesn't buy stuff from it. You can deny the reality, but 70% of GDP goes to the United States. So take your pick, which battle you want to fight there, because I'm going to tell you what, you don't want to pick a fight with Donald Trump over trade because you're going to lose every time. And Canada is kind of in the crap right now. Their economy is shrinking because
I wonder why.
Well, because of their behavior towards the United States.
Yes. They tried to change their policies on that and going overseas to China and stuff like that, but I don't think it's working well for them. And they got Alberta over here going, you know what? Here's the finger. We're done with you too. And they want to bail out, taking all these precious minerals and this oil with them. And so Canada's having a hard time, considering Mark Carney was pretty much installed in Canada to prevent all this from happening.
Well, unfortunately, because President Trump said a few things, conservatives in Canada lost. They were actually in the lead, and then Canadians turned against the conservatives because of Donald Trump. That's one thing where it kind of hurt the global conservative movement. It's unfortunate, but the left is still there. I mean, I thought the last prime minister was bad, but this guy's almost as bad. At least he's not a blackface racist like the previous one was.
You mean that Trudeau guy? I think Chris
Juicy
got his
Trudeau.
name already.
Juicy Trudeau. Yep. Pierre Trudeau's wayward son. Another loser.
Yeah, I think his father was involved in creating the Constitution of the country.
Well, they don't have a constitution, but they have basically what do they call it? The founding. It's just it's basically it has essentially the Bill of Rights in it, similar to what we have in their document, created around 1980. And his father is the person that's responsible for shepherding that into law. It's ironic to see him step all over it and just trash the whole thing. It really is sad to see.
It is, in such a short period of time. And it's always been a pretty nice country for the most part up until what? I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, they're always good brothers and sisters of the North and have never had a problem with Canadians themselves as people, but their country just went downhill as a socialist country.
Yeah, that's true. Did you catch earlier, John? In Kanawha County, West Virginia, 2 people died, one's in critical condition today after chemical release at a factory there, a silver catalyst factory. 30 people also sought medical treatment after the incident. 2 dead workers. Were workers at Ames Goldsmith Corporation. So my goodness.
What were they producing?
Well, the chemicals were M2000A. I have no idea what that is, and nitric acid. I know what that is. They were mixed in a pump area while workers were decommissioning a tank, causing an explosion. Wow. It's according to Kanawha County Emergency Management Director C.W. Sigmund. He said it was a violent reaction, instantly overcame the workers. That's kind of sad. But 2 dead and 30 sick from it. That's pretty crazy. I mean, that's not a trivial event, and that's, of course, Kanawha County, West Virginia. I know it very, very well. Used to live near there and travel quite frequently to Kanawha County. Kind of sad to hear.
Oh, the process of shutting down and cleaning with incident involving reaction of the nitric acid and another chemical creating hydrogen sulfide.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Is that another development?
I'm looking at an AI overview.
Okay. Oh, AI. Ugh, okay. All right.
That's pretty good for a little overview. I wouldn't get. Yeah, you got to be careful with AI. It sure will mislead you and give you some misinformation. And
well, not a fan. I don't like Skynet, and I do use it for some purposes, but I do it with a skewed view askew every time that they come
Right.
out. But,
Well,
so-
it makes good songs and some artwork, if you're using it for something, But
yeah, Chris is an AI addict on Suno.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and
I'd be
Suno, yes,
careful.
I do music. Well, I can't sing.
That is AI.
It just steps. Well, I didn't deny that. I also use it for thumbnails, but I do not use AI to write. I do not use AI for my
Right.
research. Although we'll see where it goes. But the problem is it's only as good as those who program it. If they have bias, they incorporate the bias into it, then we have a problem. They don't objectively.
Well, I do find that as far as using it for research and stuff, you got to be careful what you're taking from it, because if it's taking things off the web, well, you're getting left-leaning material off the web, and this is where
Right.
people get sucked in and misled.
Right.
Well, and that's the problem, because most of the people programming this stuff are left of center, and so their personal animus and bias finds its way into it. It's just a natural thing. It's unfortunate. But Todd, I want curious about your take about little Jamie Raskin, cancer survivor, the demon rat from Maryland, who has called for Kash Patel to take an audit, an alcohol use disorders identification test, 10-question survey by the World Health Organization used to screen to determine whether people have harmful patterns of drinking. I think that perhaps that Jamie Raskin should take a mental acuity test, because clearly he's dimmer than a 40-watt light bulb.
Right. Yeah. So, whether the Kash Patel is an alcoholic or has alcohol issues or whatever, I don't think that's a thing that the senator or member of the House of Representatives can sit there and call him out for. Because then the next thing it's something else. It's something else. They're always going to find something to try to come at you with. If you're doing your job properly, the attorney general, the president's going to keep an eye on you for sure. Plus, there's any number of cabinet agencies, departments, and whistleblowers, whatever, that's going to be able to say, hey, listen, this guy's truly not fit. There's a proper channel for that. And you, as a senator or a member of the House, you're not the proper channel. Don't mind your own business. You're a separate branch of government.
Agreed. Oh gosh.
So wait,
John,
how many members of the Trump administration are they going to accuse of alcoholism? I'm just want to get a count here, because it's 2 so far that I know of.
Well, they're going to accuse every one of them something so they can get rid of them. That's the bottom line.
Right. Yeah. Department of War, they accused him. Department of Defense, right? Several people of drug, alcohol problems, or drinking on duty, if you will. And some of them that they're saying is drinking on duty is an after hours event where people are social and you have some wine or a beer. That's kind of that's kind of normal, especially within the DoD. It's after hours. You're having a beer. You're chit chatting, and you're building cohesion, if you will.
A lot of
that's
people
not
do
really
that,
drinking
yeah.
on the job. That's not drinking on the job.
But
Sorry.
the funny thing is Trump doesn't drink. Trump's
No, no,
vehementally
right.
opposed to drinking. He's
Well,
opposed,
his brother
and
was
now
an
that every one
alcoholic.
of his cabinet members are accusing of being alcoholics and drinking on the job
but
and
that
being
would be
out
like
of control with it. And
A cabinet secretary attends a social function and has a wine while everybody's having a wine. That's not drinking on the job, for crying out loud. You're attending a
the
social
job-
function
the
at
you
job
your
is
job.
over.
also got to point out this is not verifiable. This is just these false claims people keep trying
Anonymous
to put out to create
sources,
imaging.
anonymous sources
Right.
from the Atlantic, who are being sued, by the way, for hundreds of millions of dollars by Cash Patel, and rightly so. But John, I really feel you've let us down tonight. Todd and I were so looking forward to an announcement which you failed to provide today. Do you feel guilty about leaving us in the dark about today's events?
Yes, I do. I feel terrible about it because I was going to leave it up to you, but because I know
well-
you like to do these sorts of things. And
No, not at all. This is not my
Oh,
favorite
we got a
announcement,
spat,
no.
everybody.
No, no.
We got a spat.
actually,
no.
I don't know what he's talking about, so I'm just trying
I
to
don't
throw
know
back
either.
at him.
Well, John,
I don't know either.
as any good hard leftist would know, today is Earth Day, and you failed to announce it. I'm disappointed.
Oh, yeah, that was right on my mind too. I was thinking
I'm
about it
gonna
all
run
day
out
long. I know how I
celebrate
let
the
it
last
slip.
few hours.
You know, it's embarrassing. You know, do they have like a national
Do they have a theme?
global warming day or climate change day? I mean, or is
Not
this
to
it?
my
Is
knowledge,
this
but
it?
I'm sure that's coming at some point. It's just a matter of time before they get around to it. But no, it is, of course, as I said, it is Earth Day. Today is the 56th anniversary of the holiday, and the 22nd of April is the day. Events go from the 18th to 22nd. And this year's theme is Our Power, Our Planet, emphasizing collective action, clean energy transition, and community mobilization for climate resilience. In Q, Greta Thunberg. Welcome, Greta.
Yeah, and her friend
I didn't hear any
Karen.
shrills or squeaking, so I don't think she's really there.
the world.
You're ruining the world.
When she sounds, she reminds me of Burgess Meredith as the penguin.
Penguin, yeah.
We're in the world.
That's it.
I'm gonna head up with the Palestinians. Gaza, Gaza, Gaza.
Humanitarian mission. I love it. Where's
Does
the
she get paid
humanitarian-
for all her nonsense, or is she just independently wealthy and crazy at the same time?
course
Oh,
she's
I'm
getting
sorry.
paid.
She's rich, so she must be eccentric.
Of course. Oh, she's beyond eccentric. She's bad crap crazy, man.
She made a name for herself, and certain groups got behind her to fund all this nonsense because she has a wide audience now. Of
Well, she
nutters
was a
out there.
child. She was like, what, 14? And they
Right.
put her on an international stage, used her for a prop, and all of a sudden now she's some crazy lunatic running through the globe going, listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen to
Now
me.
she believes the hype that they put her up to when she was 14. You're not that person, for crying out loud. They used you for their own agenda. Now you're still on the world stage. Get out of the way. Move on.
Well, I mean, and now that she's an adult, we can openly criticize her for her lunacy. I mean, the woman looks like somebody stuck a hand up her sock puppet, and her eyes are bulging out as a consequence. She looks like this.
Right.
Wow. Greta Thunberg. What a disgrace to the world. But they embrace her, the left. Of course, they embrace all kinds of irrationality. They absolutely love to live in a fantasy land. That's who they are. That's what they're all about. They won't change. And the only way to deal with them is to isolate them from the political spectrum so they have no control whatsoever and let them just rant in a corner all by themselves. Climate change, climate change, climate change. Hey, sweetheart, sit down. Here's a cookie.
Yeah, living in a fantasy world, and they
Yeah,
are
exactly.
just fantasy girls.
Exactly. They are definitely fantasy girls.
Yep.
Well, my goodness. But no, Greta Thunberg really is not the ambassador for these people, but they seem to think, but they pick all these false prophets and false ambassadors. They're always picking people speaking for them. I mean, they tried on this side of the Atlantic, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and the failed bartender failed to achieve the status that she hoped to achieve. Ilhan Omar's tried, but she's being exposed left and right now for her contradictory behavior and the strange goings on related to her finances and other things. She claims now that she only has $18,000 to $90,000 in net worth. And I'm thinking, she's 43 years old. She's been in the country since she was about 12 years old. She went to university here. She's in the country. She's been married 3 times, married to a white guy, I guess now. Can she not squirrel away more than $18,000 after being in the workforce for over 20 years? I mean, what kind of incompetent twit is this woman that she has no life savings? No wonder she has to suck off the government teat by taking a seat in the House of Representatives. What else is she going to do? Is she going to do like Somali Sesame Street? I mean, maybe she could do that. Instead of Big Bird, we have Big Doofus.
Right. Hey, boys and girls, put on the suicide vest this way. You know, stuff like that. Is that what they do? Is that what they're teaching? I don't know. I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that?
Maybe.
How to conceal that you're wearing a coat in the middle of the summer, right? With the suicide vest underneath.
There's no suicide vest under here. I like wearing big warm coat in summertime in middle desert.
See again.
You can see the security screeners go ahead. And then the 80-year-old grandmother gets body cavity search while this guy walks in with a vest under his jacket. You know,
she's got a MAGA cap. Right. You better stop her.
The random test, the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, they did that, right? You're referring to that time that woman in a wheelchair, and they put her through heck.
Yep. Anyway, that's the world we live in. It's a crazy world of wokeness, unfortunately, but life is short, and the left is just trying to take advantage of it every moment they can. They all want their yachts. They all want their fame. They want their glory. They all want to pretend that they care about the planet, pretend they care about gays and lesbians. They pretend that they care about the environment. Well, actually, that one they do kind of care about, only from a standpoint that we're not allowed to use the environment. If we're not allowed to use the environment, they're happy. If we're starving, if we're cold and freezing in the wintertime, they're happy. If we're hungry, they're happy. I mean, that's who they are. These are anti-human politicians. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, Todd.
I can't. So
tell me he's wrong.
I can't say anything. You're right.
You can't tell me I'm wrong. Okay, well, there you go.
He likes hearing it, ladies and gentlemen. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like hearing it.
Charles comments here, the bikini explosive vest was not a huge hit.
Well, it goes over great once.
Once.
Hey, boys. Ding. Oh, no.
That up there with Austin Powers, Fembots.
Fembots. Bring us a Fembots.
Yeah. I will tell you a story. You know, speaking of honeypots, and this was at the Hay Adams. So if you know the Hay Adams, it's right across from the White House.
It's a hotel, isn't it? Another building.
Nice bar downstairs off the record. I used to go there, you know, quite regular back in the day. And there was this one guy, and there was this beautiful lady, and she's talking to different people in the bar, just who you are, what do you do, this and that, and she keyed in on this one guy, and whenever she went to the restroom, a guy went over there and talked to him. He goes, "Listen, buddy, you're not that good looking. I suggest you probably should leave." And he's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You should think about what I'm telling you." And he's like, he goes, and a couple of explicatives, paid his tab, and he left. He's like, that's a honeypot. You know what I mean? Pure
at least someone warned him. Someone told him.
Oh yeah, he got out of there.
It was either that or he wanted what he was going to get.
They look for those people that wear the badges and they tuck them away just so you see it, but you don't see it. You know? Oh yeah. They know what they're doing.
It's like the Secret Service. I mean, it's not like they're on vacation when they're out of uniform. You know exactly who they are from their behavior and their comportment. They're pretty obvious. They're not exactly blending in. I think that's intentional. I think they're not meant to blend in. They're meant to look, big, and they do it off duty too. So it's just,
absolutely, yeah. And speaking of that as well, same location. A girl I dated at the time, she worked where Mary Cheney worked, and we were having a Christmas party. So we were all there kind of after post-Christmas party, Mary Cheney and all that, and her couple Secret Service detail, always just standing around. Like, they're trying to blend in, but it's so obvious who they are, you know who they are. I mean, if you know what you're looking for.
By contrast, they can't blend in, but Mike Pence, as a former vice president, blended in perfectly well walking through the Chicago O'Hare Airport. I mean, only person who recognized the former vice president. And I got a coin. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I ran into his brother in Indianapolis when I was flying back. I was like, "Hey, Congressman, I just wanted to say hi, real quick." And last time I met you was actually here at the Indy airport when your brother was flying in for an event. So, and we chatted for a little bit there, and it was interesting. Good man.
I think there's some rumors Mike Pence is considering a presidential campaign for 2028. How long do you think he'll contemplate that?
He's been talking about it for a while. He tried to make some waves, but he got no traction whatsoever. Mike Pence has no chance whatsoever to be the nominee for the Republican Party. Sorry.
If he wants to push an agenda, I guess maybe he might get up there and voice something, get some attention. But yeah, I don't think he'd win anything.
He could do well through Iowa, perhaps, and get some stuff out there. But I don't think past Iowa, I honestly.
No, he doesn't pull the vote in New Hampshire. That's for sure.
No.
But in Iowa, he'd probably get 15-18% of the vote in Iowa for sure.
Charles gives them
Right.
3 minutes to contemplate that to come to a census.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen, but you know, it's ironic. Like I said, when I was in O'Hare Airport, you know, I'm the only person to recognize the former vice president. I mean, you want to talk about? So I mean, I think that should be the statement that someone should tell his campaign manager. You know, the only person to recognize you to O'Hare out of 40,000 people walking around the airport was Colonel Wyatt. That's not a good sign, brother. It's not a good sign.
Well, a guy who, because of his career, has to be observant, and he's also a political junkie. So, intelligence, political junkie. So, that's the only guy who recognized you.
I'm just saying, you probably don't have enough name recognition or popularity to get through it. Yeah, I did see something interesting today here in Pennsylvania, though, guys. Snowball's a chance in heck of this happening, but on the way down in northwestern Pennsylvania, up there in the wilds of Pennsylvania, and then later near State College, which is where Penn State University is at, I saw two Doug Mastriano for governor, write-in Doug Mastriano. He's not on the ballot. So there's a movement amongst some ultra-conservative Christians, Orthodox Christians here, I believe, who are pushing for people to write Doug Mastriano in as a candidate for governor. Of course, you know, he ran last time and lost that race to little Josh Shapiro. But that is interesting. Stacey Garrity is the state treasurer. She's running. She has the name recognition and the deep pockets for this. So Doug doesn't have a snowball's chance, but it's interesting to see that he has loyal followers still that want to see him as governor here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Right, absolutely. I remember I did an event up there, and it was Ted Nugent, Don Jr., and Doug Mastriano. He shows up, and I was going back and forth with the campaign, and they're like, listen, if you want to let him speak, but just tell him not to talk about his own campaign because the president hasn't endorsed him or anything like that. I said, not a problem. I said, Senator, I was told by the campaign, you can talk, but you can't talk about your campaign. And he said, no problem. And he went up there and spoke, did a heck of a job. I mean, spoke for 5, 6, 7 minutes, and it just talked about some awesome stuff. Got a lot of support out of it. Didn't talk about his campaign at all. So he's well spoken.
Oh, he is. But Doug very much carries his faith on his sleeve, and that doesn't sit well with everybody. That's one reason why there was some opposition to him. I covered his campaign, of course, as you recall, going to many of the events here in Pennsylvania when he ran for governor. It's just unfortunate that we wound up with Josh Shapiro, a man that as Attorney General violated Pennsylvania's law left and right.
He's not a Satanist, right? I mean, it's not like he's something dark or evil as far as his faith goes.
No, not at all. There's nothing wrong with his faith. But what I'm saying is that there's a segment of the population that turns off, particularly when it appears that everything you're doing is driven by your faith. And if that's so obvious, it turns off a segment of the population. I mean, I'm not saying it's right or
some
wrong,
people,
just
I got you. Some people feel like, use God as a form of deflection or get people to drop their guard and stuff like that. And that I can see that point of view. I've seen people that kind of do that when they're trying to win people over.
Sure.
And they'll say things at the end like, God bless you all or something. Just they throw it out there and it feels kind of insincere.
But when it's this, good time.
Yeah, so I find it insincere whenever people get caught doing something, and they're always pivot to God. I had some prayer reflections. God's forgiven me. I'm working it out. This and that. And everybody's like, well, I just can't judge him because he threw God into the mix. And I'm like, yes, we should be able to judge his bad actions, for crying out loud, and look to the fact that he or she's using that to snow you over so you won't critique him on his bad actions. Anyway.
Yeah, but the thing about Doug Mastriano is that a lot of people, that's what the people will do that. They'll try to draw people of faith in by putting forward a show that they're deep people of faith and go to church or mosque or synagogue. But that's not the case with Doug Mastriano. That's truly who he is. That's what he believes.
Yeah,
in. And he's not shy about it. And it hurt his campaign, but he did it anyway. So he didn't kowtow to political machinations. He just went forward. This is who I am. That's what I believe in, and this is what we're going to do.
And there are people like that. They're very sincere about their faith, and
he's very sincere.
Yeah.
True.
Whether you like Doug Mastriano or not, you have to be honest and say that the man has faith and he has no compunction. He's no shame about it. He's happy to share it at any time. He's happy and he won't run from it. So again, whether you like that or not, you have to respect that. I mean, he knows that that'll cost him, but he will stick to his principles, and you got to love that.
I think the people of Pennsylvania may be missing out on a good opportunity with Doug Mastriano. I think he would have done well for the people of Pennsylvania. Very intelligent man, knowledgeable, and charming person. Really, when he speaks, he kind of inflects a little bit of humor when he speaks, and he can be kind of personal too. Personable. So, as far as his skills and stuff, I think he's all there to run the state of Pennsylvania.
Well, of course he is. He's a very successful military career, very successful career as a state senator. And of course, you know, John, that he too is a former military intelligence officer like myself from the Army.
Oh, organized thinker then.
Yeah.
What you need for a governor. That's what you're looking for. Somebody who's organizes in his thought processes.
You got to think people in that, especially that career field that rises to that level. These are very big analytical, higher upper echelon thinking. And I'm not trying to stroke your ego. The colonel's like, thank you. But that's true. These guys, people think, levels above so many the rest of us. I can't even think of the words.
You basically have to. I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, Chris has honed a skill. He had to. It's part of what his career is built upon.
Well, and his skill set keeps people alive out on the battlefield, if you think about it. And it really does.
And makes Democrats wet their shorts.
That's true. What does he know?
Well, listening to the show, and anybody's listening to the show can clearly see that for themselves, that he is a very organized thinker. I mean,
yes, and quite frankly, at this very moment, half my brain is shut down for rest, and here I am conscious with the other half on the program.
Which is probably true.
I don't know. I wish it was true. Get a little, what's the word there? That cat's, but a little sleep there on the side there. It'd be nice while I'm conscious. Wouldn't it be cool if you shut down half your brain, you can still function, and then just the brain is resting and this one's working?
Well,
we could be so much more efficient.
Well, there is a such thing as micro sleep. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but if you're
Democrats, they shut down their brains, right, like zombies, but they just don't know how to.
But that's permanent, Todd. That's not a cat nap, man.
That's true. Yeah, I'm sorry. Permanent brain damage. That's true.
Yeah, I think they'll have a brain freeze.
You hear about this thing where people actually lose up to like 90% of their brain or something like that, or portions of their brain, and they still function. It's kind of like this white spots.
Absolutely.
And
so,
I think we call them Democrats, but
no, but there are people who shot, and it's amazing how your body can rewire. If there's a damaged portion of your brain, your body can rewire and learn motor skills and learn verbal skills, and people are able to function and still have that ability to deduce and to communicate. It's absolutely amazing. The human body is quite resilient. It doesn't feel that way when you have a bad hip, but the human body is quite resilient. It's amazing. If we think about how many miles we put on these bodies, you trade in your car. Some people do every 5 or 10 years, but you can't trade in your hip or your knees or your thighs or your brain. That's got to last for the long haul, and it's quite a long haul. It may seem quick in a scheme of time on the planet Earth and in the solar system, but for us, it seems like it's a long time. But it goes faster than people realize.
Right. Oh yeah. I was thinking yesterday. I was like, man, I'm to that age where something I feel like it was yesterday was now 30 years ago, but 30 years from now still seems like far off into the future. But I know it's going to be here before you know it.
Oh, wait till 10 more years go by. Now you're going to know something.
That's where I'm in that zone right now where it's still a little bit of ways, but like in 10 years, it's going to be like, oh my goodness, it's right.
You're at that stage. You're going to see people going. And
I already have for sure.
It stinks because after what? Yes, it turns into more and more people, and you realize, hey, I'm still around. I'm doing pretty good then, And it's like you think, but I'm only 55.
Mark down the street, he bit the dust. I'm still going.
Yeah. It gets kind of like you have this kind of weird reflections about life and stuff, and you reach a certain age. It's kind of interesting.
Right. True. Perspective.
Yeah.
It does matter. Having perspective really is something that helps you focus. It's I never really thought about mortality until the past few years. Not my mortality, but just the concept of mortality. Probably because I generally didn't know people who had died. There are exceptions. Some people in uniform that I knew died in combat and also in other circumstances. But it was a rare occurrence. Maybe your grandparents died, but they don't all die at the same time. But I mean, so many people like once if you get into something where it's public, where you're involved with a lot of people, then it just happens. My friend John Tungage is passing away. Several of my viewers have passed away over the past few years. It's just, it makes you think occasionally about, human life is fragile. And when my grandfather was finally awarded the gold medal from Congress, the Congressional Gold Medal, for the Merrill's Marauders from World War II, they gave it to those DC, not DC, but the Capitol Police just 6 weeks after the fake insurrection.
Right.
For
How
their heroism.
sad. Yeah.
Their heroism for running back in the building and letting people overrun their bicycle barriers, not coming
Right.
armed. They gave them that award. But my grandfather and 2,500 heroic men of Merrill's Marauders, the Provisional Task Force, held down tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Japanese soldiers in the jungles of Burma and turned the tide of war. But they had to wait 70 plus years, almost 80 years, to be granted the Congressional Gold Medal. And there were 5 of them alive when they announced it was being awarded. And by the time they awarded it a few weeks later, 3 of them are alive. After it was finished, none are alive now. They all died. That's something that should have been done decades ago. Should have been done absolutely decades ago. Yeah, it's a shame.
Absolutely.
It's a shame.
For sure. We got a few minutes there, John.
John looks perplexed.
No, I was thinking about what you were saying on that. Yeah, it's kind of sad they didn't get the recognition, enjoy that recognition for their achievements. And probably to them, they were like, hey, look, I just did what I had to do. But still, it would have been nice to have been recognized,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's, look, World War II veterans, most of them died before we ever put up a World War II memorial. I mean, how pathetic is that? Same with the Korean War memorial. Most of them.
Who knew that opening doors at the Capitol would get you a gold medal, right? Come on in, exactly. Everybody. We're open for business.
Well, yeah, that's a good point to bring that up there. But no, we don't recognize people when we should, and those folks should be recognized. I believe it's true they're building a Persian Gulf War memorial now in D.C. on the mall. Is that
right? And a GWAT memorial too, which is going to be over next to the Vietnam Memorial. And there's like a little island near the Lincoln Memorial right there.
Okay. I can't wait. I can't wait to go. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. To me, as we've discussed before, the most evocative of those memorials is the Korean War memorial. You get a creepy feeling when you walk through there. I mean, not in a bad way.
Look at the faces.
You almost feel like you could put yourself and go back there, which is impossible. But to me, it was the Lincoln Memorial is impressive. The World War II memorial is kind of bland, but I understand why. The Vietnam Memorial is heartbreaking, but the Korean War Memorial makes me feel like I'm in it, like I empathize with the guys who went through it. I mean, I was not at the Battle of Chosin Reservoir, but man, that's what I'm thinking of. Those guys marching there. I was thinking of the Chosin Reservoir. What a horrible situation to be in.
Have you ever been there early in the morning, whenever, especially like whenever it's cool out, the mist and the fog? Have you seen that?
I have, because I used to jog from the Pentagon.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We jogged it.
Yeah, and so it's pretty wild. And that was kind of, I'd go down to about where the World War II memorial is, because it wasn't built back then, and I'd jog back from there. Sometimes I'd jog around the White House and come back.
Yeah, and you get some of the Fort Myer guys.
Yeah. Oh, really? Fort Myer? Okay. No,
Fort Myer guys come down, and they don't do any cadence whenever they're out on the mall, because they'll run in formation but no cadence.
Well, it probably hurts civilians' feelings,
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think there are reasons why they don't do cadence down there. You gotta get a bunch of infantry guys doing.
Well, for the monuments too, it's to show reverence. I get that. Last thing you want to do is get some Jody calls that are just a little bit off color there.
But you get them going, and it's a challenge. And next thing you know, it's F. It's like, wait a minute, shut up.
People want to know
shut
who
up.
we are.
You're talking about killing this and that. Don't do that. You do that on Fort Bragg and Fort Hood and all these other places. Not when civilians can see and hear you.
Yeah, Jody calls, man. That's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love concades. I love concades.
Yeah, I always ran I had little short choppy steps, so I was always off. But I would have to look at the people running's feet to keep it on in step. And I got to the point where everybody's like, "What step are you on?" I'm like, "I suck at this. Somebody take over." I'd get out of there.
I always hated running in formation because I have long legs, and it was so difficult to hit such short, ridiculously ludicrous steps. When I was enlisted in Germany in the mid '80s, we got a new company commander, and the company commander said, he listened to some of the junior enlisted and NCOs and said, "Sir, we've got some studs in this unit. You really need to take the reins off and let them go." So they created a fast group. And oh my goodness, we would run like 8 miles for PT in the morning. It was awesome. It was incredible. We'd leave Rose Barracks in Bad Kreuznach. We'd run up past the cemetery, up the backside, up the mountain hill, really, and go up to the top there, and then run back. It was unbelievable. And it beat the heck out of, because I'll tell you, the first day I got to Germany, oh my goodness, in 1984, the Germans did not use unleaded gasoline. And we ran
You
out
can
the back
smell
of the Rice
that.
barracks,
Yeah.
and we ran through a residential neighborhood. And of course, we have to lower it, everywhere we go, people want it. You couldn't say it loud because the Germans' feelings would be hurt because you're in the residential neighborhood. But then we run through it. But I remember the first day, I'm like, I'm going to die. I was like,
yeah.
All the exhaust from their leaded cars. Oh my goodness, it was terrible. There were no emission standards at all.
Mhm.
But of course, now they look down the nose at us. We're environmental criminals. But there's more lead on the A3 Autobahn next to the to Rhein Air Base. You could dig it up and probably make lead ingots out of how much lead came out of the fuel there. Anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember when we were in Darmstadt, we would jog to Frankenstein Castle there. That you'd jog up it and back down. Yeah, that was fun.
It's interesting you bring up leaded gas because lead wasn't normal for gas. They actually put it in there.
It's an additive, yes.
Yeah, it was an additive to stop pinging and stuff to help it so it'd be a little bit more volatile to fire up and stuff. And the guy who he died from lead poisoning because the chemist or whatever, he was saying it was so safe and this and that, and he was exposing himself to lead and stuff. And it was like trying to prove his point and ended up dying from lead poisoning.
Well, I mean, look, Madame Curie died from radiation poisoning, and she's the one that found that link there. When Joe Biden's autopsy is performed, it'll be proven he died from stupidity. So these things happen.
Right.
I was wondering, was he really that bad off with Alzheimer's, or were they drugging him to control him? I was thinking about the auto pen.
Don't think Joe
robot.
Biden has Alzheimer's. I just think, he's a robot. I think that's what it is.
He's a robot.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was thinking about the auto pen one day. I go, what if they were just drugging him the whole time? Just used him like a tool just to keep control of the White House, and the whole time Obama was running things behind the scenes. Okay, I'm not saying that was true, so don't nobody go quoting me on it or anything. I'm just speculating ideas here.
Well, could be. But look, Obama is out there still running around. He played a major factor in this victory for the referendum in Virginia that has been set aside by a judge now. Of course, it'll be appealed. But Obama's out there saying, don't let the Republicans steal this election. Dude, that's exactly what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing.
Wait a minute. In all truthfulness, he's not breaking any laws or anything or stealing an election by trying to influence people on the left or giving them guidance. I don't think it's illegal or anything
Perfectly
like
illegal.
that.
It's a violation of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Case closed.
Well, you got to explain
if the Department
that.
Department of Justice needs a basis to go after the state of the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's that they violated the 1965 Voting Rights Act. They intentionally created these districts to disenfranchise white Virginians.
Yeah, I got you. No, that okay, but that's not Obama. What Obama's doing as far as giving guidance isn't illegal. He can advise people all day long. It's not illegal for him to do that.
He has advised people to commit lawlessness. So anyway, whole other story.
Yeah.
But this is a guy who extrajudicially murdered American citizens. Press didn't
correct.
account for that. And this is the guy that said he wanted to fundamentally change America, and he destroyed race relations in this country. Accomplished that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the man. Who
I'm
turned
not
the
praising
IRS
him. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not praising the guy. I was
didn't
just trying to be
misunderstand.
honest and objective about what he's doing.
I mean, how many hundreds or thousands of drone and airstrikes did he have? Right, like you said, extrajudiciously on Americans.
Somebody in our chat was asking, they wonder who made the decisions in the Biden administration. I'm going to help you out. I know our listeners can't see this, but our viewers can see it. I don't have an actual, magic 8 ball here, but Ouija board and magic 8 ball are how the Biden administration made decisions politically. They just, turned to the Ouija board.
Dear spirits, please guide us on our decisions because we're just too brain dead to know.
Right, you got the one person
up the
pulling to
magic
yes,
8 ball.
another person pulling to no. Oh,
Exactly.
There's Hillary with a fork stabbing him in the hand.
What's the answer? Oh!
Did anybody see
Lie,
Michelle?
lie.
I didn't see Michelle anywhere in this conversation. She never popped up with Barry.
Oh, you mean he?
Are they
Yeah,
still-
he did.
Michael. Michael Obama.
You guys never
John's
let
call.
go of that. You guys never let go of that line.
No.
That's so funny.
That's John. I love it.
Yeah, I can't help it. I seen some video and I'm like, whoa.
By the way, can you guys help me out, man? I've been signing a lot of documents looking for donations for the VFW. Can I get an auto pen so I don't have to sit here and do this all day?
Yeah, they're very expensive, about 20 grand or so, I believe, for a decent
man.
auto pen. But I was looking at that too recently. I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of pricey when you want to rip off the country. But I guess it's relatively cheap when you're ripping off the country and you're using the tax dollars to do it. Sort of like how they funneled money into what was that, USAID and stuff, and then got
USAID, yep.
kickbacks. Yeah, got kickbacks and go. We can campaign on this now.
Well, Wycliffe John, or Clinton Foundation, right? Operation down in Haiti.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of you Wycliffe John, you're talking about artists. What about the artist formerly known as, what's his name there? He is now. He's been banned from the UK.
Oh,
and
yeah. He's a nut, right?
Kanye West.
Kanye
West. That's right.
yeah.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
I should remember that's a town in Botswana called Kanye. But Kanye West has been banned from the UK. Apparently, he's undesirable there. I can think of a lot of people undesirable in the UK. King Charles. We'll start with that.
Right.
His little Nazi son.
Soon, an Englishman is going to be undesirable in the UK. You know.
Well, they already are. I mean, they lock you up for freedom of expression in the UK. There's no such thing unless you're an illegal alien seeking to bifurcate and destroy society.
For a while there, I thought the Englishmen were standing up for themselves and was going to do something, but I guess that died out.
That didn't last long. No, they just put a few of them in jail, and that sent a clear message that you can't speak out as an Englishman.
Run
You have no
away!
rights.
Run away! You know.
We are the Knights of Knee, and we want a shrubbery. A shrubbery.
Just a fresh spoon.
We are quoting Monty Python.
That's right.
Python now.
That's right.
That's right.
I tell you, it's a vicious rabbit. He's got pointy ears and teeth. He'll bite you. It's just a bunny rabbit. Ah! It's an attack rabbit. Oh my goodness. Brave Sir Robin bravely ran away. When danger reared its ugly head, brave Sir Robin fled. Brave Sir Robin bravely ran away. I did not.
Bravely ran away.
Why are you bagging those coconuts together? There are coconuts in England.
It was a swallow.
Where did you get those coconuts? Yeah.
What is the aerodynamic wind velocity of an unladen swallow? African or European? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
They were good. Monty Python was good, man. The Meaning of Life, I think, was their best.
That was pretty good. But I think the Holy Grail was the best one. That's my favorite one, hands down.
Yeah, I think that was people's favorite.
So Galahad gets trapped in the tower with the virgins. He's like, can I just stay for a little bit?
Yeah. But at the end, it basically at the end they got arrested because they didn't have the permits and all that. And I'm like, that's where the UK was heading. You know, you don't have a permit, we're going to arrest you. Oh, if you're against the invaders, we're going to arrest you. You express an opinion, we're going to arrest you. You know, that's kind of what I think they were poking fun at.
I am Arthur, King of the Britons. Who made you king? I didn't vote for you.
Charles in favor of
handing out swords.
Charles is in favor of Life of Brian.
Yeah, Life of Brian's pretty good. But no, that's where he's mistaken for Jesus. This is the average guy.
You can't say Jehovah. You know, he's stoning him for saying Jehovah. You stone me anyway.
Waterwick. Well, we Swaterwick. We don't have a Waterwick, sir.
She's a witch. Burn her. I'm not a witch. They put this nose on me. Is it true? Did you place the nose upon the witch? Well, we did do the nose.
Did you place the nose on the witch? It is true. We did.
Exactly.
We did the nose. I love it.
Logically, if she sinks, she's not a witch. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was a great movie, man. That was such a great movie. The bunny rabbit was just so silly. I came my first time watching, I'm like, okay, this is too much. This is too much. The Dark Knight, and he chops his arm off. It's just a flesh wound, blood spurting out the shoulder.
Right. He's just a stump sitting there.
Come back, you coward! I'll bite you. Oh my goodness, what a great, and the show was okay. I mean, I remember I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. What is it? I put on girlies' clothing and hang around in bars. Okay. You say so, man. That was kind of eye-opening for me back in the day. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
There we
John.
go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's our bit for tonight. We hope you got something out of it, enjoyed it, and catch us again next week. Same time, same place. Look forward to seeing you. Good night, all.